Joe Newman says, thought we had the game won at 28-10 and 29-28. If we want to be up there, we've got to be able to kill teams off. Great team on paper, just not on the pitch yet. Early days yet, but Rudder's had to get more out of this talented squad. Our 6 and 7 combination aren't offering much for it so far going forward. I know no one likes him, but the Falau take one-handed to get the ball back from the short kickoff was class.
No one doubts his talent, just his hate speech. AK Steel 69 said the FC coaches got their timing slightly wrong this season, given that we seem to have peaked on the 2nd of February. That said, this game was won when 18 points up midway through the second half, and then having given it away via a combo of a Sneed missed tackle, our generous right edge, and some Samkins brilliance, we then rescued the game with a trademark snide drop goal, only to hand the game to Catalans as 4 tacklers couldn't stop Maloney. Yeah, one of the least physically imposing players on the Catalans side broke through every tackle coming, didn't he?
He did, indeed. Sarah McKenzie says, absolute rubbish. Total disgrace to throw away an 18-point lead. Then we drop a goal and seem surprised the kickoff goes to the 15-foot tall player. Why can't we tackle? And we need to actually convert possession into points. It's no good merrily passing the ball along the line and forcing repeat sets if all we do is throw the ball into touch at the end of it. Stupid players playing stupid rugby.
Always in our shadow said, how the fuck did we lose that? 28-10 and someone put a bloody turnstile on our right side defence, invited the Froggies to level up. We then gave Maloney 2 goes to drop a winner before Snide showed him how to do it. 1 set to defend. First we put a bloody midget to contest a kick-off against Falau and failed to make tackles when needed. Yeah, dramatic, exciting, big turnaround, surprise result. What did you make of what you've seen of this one? And remember that you lost on Thursday, don't gloat too much.
Well, I think what the main thing I noticed actually watching the highlights of this one was how all the attack for Hull FC went down the right side. It was all coming off that one edge. I think it was the right side.
Yeah, because we saw a couple of neat flick passes from not a 6, definitely a centre, Jake Connor, and then Carlos Tumavarvi seemed to come on for him and score a try. So hot competition for places there.
Yeah, it was all just pouring down that one edge, and I think Catalan did start to stem that flow when they realised that's what was happening. It took them quite a blooming long time to get there, but then edged their way back in. And again, you only had a minute and a half to go by that point. It's not going to be surprised with that, little time when there still is enough time to do something. They're going to take the kickoff short. They're going to put it to the guy who's 6'4" and a massive bellend.
Got great leaping skills.
Well, of course, he played Aussie rules, didn't he? That's all you do in Aussie rules is jump up and down a bit. So that's not a surprise that they're going to go to him. You kind of think that a lot of it was within their own gift right at the end. That said, shipping all those points to get them into that position in the first place is equally a problem.
Yeah, and I think one of the things as well that was a bit noticeable is obviously Sam Tompkins got beasted by a rampaging Manu Mao for his try. Tompkins had no chance against the Tongan Terminator, but that seemed to spur him into action because every highlight after that is Tompkins tearing through the Hull FC defence and setting up something for his teammates.
Yeah, this was Tompkins we haven't seen for a while.
I mean, this season now it's 3 times, isn't it, that we've seen a fast and incisive Sam Tompkins, and I sort of speculated if maybe having someone with the talent and ability of Maloney is taking defenders away from Tompkins a little bit to give him that bit more space that he'll need as he's an older player now. But I'm starting to just think he's got his wheels back. Yeah,
well, who knows? Maybe it's just more settled now. He's been there for a year and a bit. He's found his feet. He's just a bit happier. Who knows if that's what it is?
Yeah, and I don't know about what you think, but and the stats back it up. The players that came back in for Hull FC, the players that we've been waiting to sort of see again, Satai who's been banned, Mau who's been injured, they did their jobs well. They did what was to be expected of them, and so you sort of thought, well, I stopped checking the score when it got to 28-10. To be honest,
which is, to be that far up, you should have the defence in you to be able to close a game out. You should. If you've managed to get in there, you should be able to, as a Super League side, once you've got that much of a lead, you should be able to hold it off. But there we go.
Yeah, we've touched on some of the star players. What about highlight moment for you from what you've seen on the footage of this game?
It's between that. Was it the Fanua try?
Fanua didn't score.
Who was it that scored?
The homophobic outside back didn't score. Oh, Fanua. Fanua. Not.
Yeah, not the other one. No, not for the team in red.
No. Yes, the flick pass from Connor for Fanua's try. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was probably the highlight moment for me, other than the banter at the end. Yeah,
and I suppose we should have a brief conversation about the bed sheets. There's a huge anticipation that they're going to be back out in force. It's kind of been bubbling up a bit, but the games they've lost have been against Wigan and Saints, so it was kind of like, should we panic yet? Really, now is it are the bed sheets going to be out now for certain, do you think? Do you think Radford is under serious pressure now?
I mean, he's got to be on his third life by now, really. He's had a couple of seasons where he's been called into question, and he's managed to do just enough at the right time to hold it off. It's hard to see. I suppose the question is, can you see Hull FC improving and going forward with him? Or is he at the end of what he can do?
This team, it feels like, go as far as how consistent they can get Connor and or Kelly to be. They've got the forward pack. Getting them to put an 80-minute performance out there would be an absolute necessity, you would think. But they've got the forward pack. They've got the talent. That's when you have to start questioning the coach. When it's these consistent, just like we were talking about, should Steve Price be questioned? Well, Steve Price won his Challenge Cup last year. It's been a couple of years since Radford won his Challenge Cups now. How much as that goodwill starts to erode?
Yeah,
it's one for the Hull FC fans to answer, but I'm sure Sarah will be hoping that they'll have a win next week and we won't need to worry about it so much. Let's move on to the final game. Maybe a little bit of a surprise too. Injury-stricken Wakefield travelled to Salford, who got some of their big name players back into the side this week, but they still couldn't manage to pull off a win. It was 6-4 to Wakefield at half-time. It was 22-12 to Wakefield at full-time in front of 3,801. Liam Moore was the referee in charge here. In terms of the stats were closer than the scoreline, with Wakey only making 66 more metres, but Salford having a better average gain. Penalties were even. Salford made one more break, but met that with one more handling error. Wakey had the better tackle success rate and the better goal-kicking success rate. Salford failing to land a goal for the second week running. That must be a concern for them. Individually, Bill Tupu with a try in 140 metres. Kalepi Tanganoa came off the bench to deliver one try and 132 metres. Reece Lynn had a couple of try assists and 113 metres. And Matty Ashurst, let's celebrate a defensive effort, 42 tackles for him. For Salford, Ken Seo had a blinder, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 5 tackles, 157 metres and 4 clean breaks. Reece Williams on the other side, 148 metres and 2 clean breaks. Dan Sargentson back in the side after a week out, 129 metres. And Connor Jones, 43 tackles. We got one fan view in on this one. Do you want to share that with the guys and gals listening?
It was the Wakey White who said, gutsy win for Wakey in a close fought battle at the Bell. Salford looked dangerous at times moving it out wide, but the middle of the park was all Wakefield. Shout out for Kalepi Tanganoa, the magic second rower, who had a great game, and Joe Westerman, who did a lot of work in the pack, while young Max Jowett turned in a man-of-the-match performance playing at standoff. You love to see it.
Yeah, and I'd not even read Wakey White's fan view, actually, to be honest, when I wrote my notes up on this one. I wrote my notes mostly from the match reviews I'd read, but of course I checked out the highlights too. I didn't see anything else or hear anything else of this one because I was at Wigan's game against Huddersfield. But yeah, Jowett looked heavily involved in the highlights, in the unfamiliar position of a halfback role. He seemed to blossom there. Reece Lynn showed some nice pieces of play. Certainly, if we're talking highlights from the Wakefield side of things, his flick pass was very good, and his inside pass as well, coming away from his centre position to set up Max Jowett's try. The match reviews rave on as well about how the powerful impact that Tanganoa had off the bench. Tanganoa, the magic second rower, I enjoy that one, Wakey White. Thanks for the rhyming there. But yeah, it sounds like he was powerful. It also sounds like Paulie kind of met fire with fire a little bit there, but wasn't quite the match for ultimately the guy I think who replaced him as the big powerful interchange guy in that Wakefield squad. So well done to Kalepi Tanganoa coming off the bench and making a difference, and well done to Max Jowett. I mean, that injury situation, but you can bring in a kid who plays out of position well. That's got to look good. I mean, Chris Chester talked about some people were going to need to get the axe after last week's game, didn't he? But he couldn't. Yeah. He couldn't kick any of them out because he's not got enough. He's not got enough other players to bring in at the moment, so he had to go with mostly what he'd got, and they turned it around for him. So he's obviously motivated them to make amends for last week's second half capitulation. From a Salford perspective, Niall Evalds, he's still flashing on the highlights for them, but there must be something missing ahead of him that's stunting his side's performance. I don't know what you think about what might be missing, but they had the experience back in this game, so it wasn't that. What do you think is missing for Salford this year, other than Jackson Hastings?
Well, it is mostly Jackson Hastings, isn't it? But his ability to get you something out of nothing. I think it's if you look down that side, there's no bad players in there that should be doing anything. Yeah, I don't know if it is a case of sort of after the Lord Mayor show that it's sort of all just not as they're not there, or that's where they've peaked as a group. It is
a group of good players, isn't it? But maybe it's a group of players who are streaky players as well as being decent. You know, they're Super League caliber players, but maybe they're streaky players and they're on a bad streak, aren't they? And so maybe confidence is low. You streak the wrong way, and it's hard to turn it around to streak the right way, like they did the second half of last season.
Yeah. And that could be it. It could be that this is just a blip on the point, but I think they've got enough. They've got enough quality there that should see them home, given the publicised struggles of others.
Yeah, and to be honest, the brightest highlight moment from this game I pulled out was Salford's first try. I think it was thoroughly entertaining. From the speculative sort of like reverse dunk offload that Paulie threw out there, through the good interplay that eventually allowed CO to put Lola here in to score. I think that was really good play. And windy conditions again down there at the AJ Bell, but you know, one team were able to kick goals, so I don't know why the other team weren't. That's a worry for Salford at this stage. But yeah, they still put in some entertaining stuff. It's just they're not being consistent throughout 80 minutes, unfortunately, at the moment. Well done to Trinity. They definitely, backs against the wall, pulled one off here, so congratulations to them. Do you want to take us through the standings, Tim?
Yeah, so we're going to take over at the top with Cass in second, so not quite pissing it yet on points difference. Both have 4 wins from 5 played on 8 points. St Helens, Leeds and Huddersfield all have 6 points. All of them have managed to miss a game, so 3 out of 4. Catalan, Hull FC, Wakefield and Warrington all come next on 4 points. Salford and Hull KR have 2,